hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Come on in the room. As you're coming on in, say hello. Give us some reactions. Give us some emojis. Also, to let us know where you are tuning in from and watching from in the chat. My name is Leticia Campbell, and I'm one of the co-hosts of the Sister to Sister Connection Talk Show. I co-host this show with my amazing co-host, Miss Twonta Davis Jones, which is she's not going to be here tonight because her beautiful daughter is having a concert. But again, ladies, as you're coming on in, please say hello in the chat. Teresa, if you can pop the topic on the bottom of the screen for me, because we have an awesome conversation to have you guys tonight. So for those of you who don't know, we do this show, Twonta and I host this show every single Wednesday. Thanks, Teresa, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk about some hard-hitting topics. You know, our foundation of this show is about sisterhood. It's about spirituality and stability. It's so important that we as women build a stable life, right? So what the topic is going to be about today, it's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as you think. So as you come in the room, please share this out. I'm actually going to share this out as well, okay, in a couple of my groups. So as you guys are rolling on in, please feel free to share out this broadcast because we are definitely going to be diving into this conversation, okay? Thank you, everybody, for hopping on. Wherever you're tuning in from, please say so in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. I reside in the good old New York. Okay. But where do you ladies reside at? Okay. Um, we also, sorry about that. We also have a self-care event coming up. So those of you who are already on our email list, okay, tomorrow, you guys are going to get an email drop explaining our upcoming self-care event, which is going to be held at the end of this month. So make sure you make a lookout for that. If you're not on our email list or you're not sure if you're on our email list, do me a quick favor and just type in the word email in the chat for me. Type in the word email in the chat for me, and I will personally reach out to you to make sure and ensure that you're actually on our current email list. All right. So again, ladies, come into the room, say hello. I want to make sure that our comments are working. I want to make sure that our reactions are working before we dive into this conversation. And as I mentioned to you guys earlier, tonight is a great topic, okay? Because some of you think that other people may be more luckier than you are, right? Some of you may feel that you're probably watching people in life that are in business and things just come so fluid to them. Success just comes so much easier to them and they just make it look easy. But it's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as you think, right? So type in one in the chat right now. If you do flirt around with that comparison syndrome, type one in the chat right now. If you're like, listen, sometimes I do look at other people and I wonder, maybe things have came more fluid for them. Maybe things are more easier for them. Maybe they're just naturally born the way they are. Right. But no, there is no person under the God-given sun who is born successful. Success is made. Okay. Babies are not born successful. Okay. They are successful births, right? Right. But nobody is born into success. No, even when you see young children who basically was birthed and brought up with a silver spoon in their mouth. Many of you have seen movie stars, children, music producer children go down the wrong path. So what does that tell you? That building a successful life in business is not something that you just born with, right? Even for those who have success melting all around them, right? They will event there are times where they may slip and fall flat on their face. Hey, Ladavia, how you doing, sis? So again, success is something that you have to build. Okay, you're not born with it. So let's jump into the first point. Thank you so much, Therese. To build your success, right? We all think it's so easy, like other people, it's more easier for other people to build success than it is for you. But you guys know what success really is? Does anybody know that? Like, what does it take to be successful? Someone told me this a long time ago, one of my very first mentors. She says, success loves speed. I want somebody to put that in the chat real quick. Success loves speed. Success loves speed. Put that in the chat. Success loves speed. So if you're that type of individual who's watching this right now, maybe you attended tons of trainings, maybe you've been a part of many of our self-care events or our calls that we do and what have you, and you're just taking notes, retaining the information, right? Putting highlighters over the most important information, right? But you're not doing anything with it. See, one thing about me is, in any of y'all who have been following me for a long time, you can absolutely attest to this, is when I learn, thank you, Diane, when somebody's teaching me something, I apply it. Thank you, LaDavia. I apply what I've been taught right away. I do that every single time. When I get a good nugget from somebody who has been further ahead in business than I am, or further ahead in life than I am currently, anything they tell me, I take action on that right now. Because success loves speed. Okay, so when you look at somebody who you feel is further ahead than you, or making more money than you, or has a better life than you got to understand that they weren't born successful. Okay, right? They built themselves to success. They took every single nugget, every single advice, right, and just hit the ground running with it, right? When they fell flat on their face, they got right back up. Okay, so don't assume that it's easy for most people. If you've ever felt that way, type me. Some of y'all say that about me sometimes. Oh, Leticia, you make this so easy. And there be times that I wish I could really show y'all like a day in the life of how, before I even hop on camera, before I even get on stage, or before I even teach a class, like I have a class to teach right after this, there's a lot of moving parts ahead of that before I actually show up on a Zoom or show up on stage. Okay. And the thing is, I work every day to be successful. I take my success seriously. So in order to build your success, one, you got to take yourself seriously, right? Two, you got to take your life and your business seriously, right? And three, you gotta have speed. And when I say speed, hey, what's up, Waikita? When I say speed, it doesn't mean that you just go fast without thinking. What I say by speed is about taking action, not waiting too long from the time that you learned something to actually apply something. If you understand what I'm saying, type in me right now. I want to make sure you understand what I'm talking about before I move on to the next thing. Right? Before I move on to the next thing. Because from this day forward, I don't want you guys to assume, or I don't want you guys to think that other people has a better advantage than you do. I don't want y'all to think that those individuals that you're watching on YouTube or on Instagram or Facebook, that they're an overnight success. It took people like Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk over 10 years to be a titled an overnight success, but they spent 10 plus years working hard, grinding and hustling, and understanding that successful people are not born successful, right? They make themselves successful. And if you understand the power and the control and the authority that you have over your life, you will totally understand this concept. So thank you so much for saying me, Waikisa. Thank you, LaDavia, saying me. Waikisa said, I believe you're talking to me. I'm talking to everybody. Because there's times where I will look at other people, like my competitors and what have you, and I'll be like, oh my God, they're at a higher advantage than me. They got the best branding videos. They got all this large audience. But here's the thing. We don't compete. We dominate. We don't compete. We dominate. I want y'all to write that down, right? Type that in the chat. I don't compete. I dominate. Our goal in life and in business is not to compete with anybody, not to compete with each other. Our goal in life and in business is to dominate in the skills, in the industry, and that passion that we want to do and move forward with. So I'm talking to everybody that's on here and who is willing to understand that. Stop looking at other people, myself, Twonta, anybody else that you watch every day, and think that they have this magic formula to success that is so easy. They're a natural at it. You know how hard people have to work to become natural? Like, I'm currently right now taking another sales certification training, okay, with Grant Cardone inside of his training course to be recertified in sales. I have over 20 years experience in sales, and I'm still taking classes and courses and trainings in sales. Why? Because I want to get better. I have to understand that through sharpening my skills is going to help me to close better. It's going to help me to show up better. It's going to help me to be better. And if you're not willing to learn that concept, ladies, you're always going to feel like you're hitting a wall each and every single time. Right? I don't compete. Thank you, Wakita. I don't compete. I dominate. So whatever it is you're doing right now, dominate it. Whatever it is your passion is you want to go forward in, dominate it. Stop being that wallflower of collecting information and not hitting the ground running with it. So let's go ahead to number 2. Let's go ahead to number 2. Right? Number 2 is to have success, to have successful relationships, right? Sometimes we think that it's easy to have and build successful relationships, but it's not always that way. One of the things I learned today, it was a situation that came up recently, and I was like, I had to go into heavy prayer on it. And one of the things that God was telling me, he's like, Tisha, stop being a right fighter. Stop being a right fighter. Be a peacemaker. Right? And now for a woman like me and where I was raised and the environment that I was around, being right is our thing. Like if we're going to get into a disagreement or a situation, like we're trying to make our point, we're trying to prove our point, we are trying to be right. Okay. When it comes to building a successful relationship, hey, LaShawn, it's not about being right. It's about being peaceful. And through being peaceful, sometimes you have to be a bigger person in order to have successful life and business relationships. Sometimes it's taking your emotions and your feelings and you being expressing that you've been done wrong. That takes too much energy, right? Is how many of y'all lose energy when you get mad? Right? How many of y'all, when you don't like to be angry because it makes you it makes you tired. It makes you like, oh my God, I'm spending all day worrying and meditating over this situation. How many of you don't like being angry because it takes too much energy out of you? Typing me in the chat right now. Okay. So it's not as easy as you think to have successful relationships. But you also have to grow and develop with the process of understanding that just like it ain't easy for you to build successful relationships, it's probably not easy for other people around you to do the same thing. So I really feel that having a sense of humility, understanding, and compassion is vitally important when you want to build a successful life in business. Because when you're sitting back and you're constantly murmuring, complaining, and worrying, that's not a good position to dive your energy on. Okay. It really, really isn't. All right. So let's go to number 3. Let's go to number 3. And also, there's not going to be an afterglow tonight. What we really want you guys to focus on is tomorrow I'm going to be sending out an email blast for those of you to sign up for our self-care event, which we're going to be kicking off on the 25th of this month. Okay. So you may think it's easier, is more easy for other people to stay focused. How many of y'all struggle with stay focused? Type the number 2 in the comments. If you struggle to stay focused, like you may look at other people and you may say, oh my God, it's so easy for them to stay focused. It's like they're so focused, they're super focused. And I can't even spend time on one thing for 15 minutes, right? Some of y'all may have the hamster wheel effect. I do too. I have that hamster brain, right? Where I could jump from one thing to another thing and to another thing and not finish anything at all. And arguably so, it started to trickle off into my oldest son, where I would tell him to do one thing and then he'll jump off to another thing and then another thing and another thing and don't finish anything. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Diane, for your transparency. So here's the thing, ladies. Everyone struggle with focus. Okay. Focus is not a skill that you're born with. This is something that you have to practice. This is something that you have to implement. Okay. It's something that you have to run through daily. So I'm going to give y'all a tip. Those of you who have a business, type in me if you have a business right now. Or if you like me, you have businesses. Okay. Type in me if you have a business right now. Okay. You're currently running and operating a business. Maybe you're offering courses, services, or maybe you're network marketing. But type in me. Now, here's what I do. Okay. Yes, discipline. Absolutely. Here's what I do. Right. You do that too? Awesome. So here's what I do to keep myself on track every week. So you always have to have a time in your business where you're focusing on growing tasks. Okay. Yes, Diane, I'm glad you say that. You have to execute. And listen, ladies, it's not hard to execute. It's really you taking your mind out of the equation and getting some work done. Okay. So you always have to focus on a part of your day or part of your week where you are growing your business, right? Those of you who've been watching me for a long time, I always say you grow your business through growing your email list. Okay. You don't grow your business by trying to grow your followers and grow your likes and grow your subs, because guess what? That's not really growing, because YouTube, with the 100+ followers that we have right now on YouTube, YouTube can literally delete our YouTube account, right? If they want to divorce Twonta and I show and say, listen, I'm divorcing y'all, it's done, and we don't have an email list, we walk away from this platform with nothing. Okay? So forget about growing your business page, your Instagram, or your Facebook. If you don't have an email list, you don't have no growth. So you have to have time where you're introducing your business to new people. The second part of your business should be your IPAs. If you don't know what IPAs are, there are income producing activities, right? This is the time where you focus on closing sales, closing clients, closing prospects, right? Some people get income producing activities confused. They'll be like, well, my income producing activity today was I scheduled an email. That's not an income producing activity. That activity will lead to income, but it's not an IPA. An IPA is you reaching out to those who clicked on your link in your email and saying, hey, did I say everything? Did I give you everything to say yes to my product? Did I give you everything to say yes to my course or my service? That's an IPA. Is you're making money move actions in your business, okay, to get the results, to build profits, okay? Now, the next part of your day is your tasks. This is your to-do list, right? You begging out, scheduling your posts, checking out your calendar, scheduling calls, whatever it is you have to do task-wise in your business. Hey, Crystal, how are you doing, lovely? And the next part of your day should be retention. Okay, that's you servicing your clients and servicing your customers. All right. So again, you have your growth, right? Your IPA, your tasks, and your retention. Okay. Now you can hit all these 4 areas in one day, or like what I did this week, I break it up. Like today, I did my retention and I did my IPAs. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on my tasks and my growth. And I sort of like checkerboard it throughout the month, right? So I want to ask you guys this question. Are y'all hitting any of those areas, any of those focus point areas in your business right now on a weekly basis? Type in yes or no. Because if we're just running our business just on the fly every day, don't expect much growth by the end of this year. If you use all these 4 focuses and apply them every day in your business, and obviously you can apply other things in your life, and that's fine. But I'm the business portion of the show, so I always dive into the business stuff. But type in yes or no if y'all hitting any of these 4 corners in your business. Your focus is your growth, IPAs, retention, tasks. Okay, yes or no? I'm still waiting. I'll wait, y'all. Yes or no? If y'all want me to repeat the question, just let me know. Ask me to repeat the question. Yes or no? Or what areas do you guys feel? Okay, Waikita said no. So what is y'all's weakest area? Okay, every week. Is it in, thank you, Waikita. Is it in getting your to-do list done? Okay, type in 1 if that's you. Is it your IPAs, closing more deals? sales, customers, clients, prospect, typing 2? Is it number 3? Maybe you struggle with getting more eyes in your business, growing your email list, right? Getting new people in front of your business. Or is it 4, your retention? What do you feel that you need the biggest focus on? Okay. Okay. Waikita said time management. All right. Mm-hmm. The best thing advice I can give you with that, then manage your time. Like when people tell me, and one of my other mentors that I follow, she mentioned this too. And somebody people say, I struggle with time management. No one can manage your time but you. I'm a mother of 5 children. Ain't nobody can sit here and tell me you can't get anything done in a day. I have 5 young children, y'all. Okay. Okay. And to be quite honest, when I was working full time, I had how many children I had, y'all? I had 3 children and 1 on the way. So ain't nobody can tell me in this planet that they cannot manage their time. You can manage your time, whether you have to wake up earlier or go to bed later or stop spending time throughout the day procrastinating. Every time, maximize your time. Maximization of your time is your responsibility. Okay, it's not something that can be taught. It's something that you need to practice every single day. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Everybody from Mark Zuckerberg to Jeff Bezos to Grant Cardone and even to you, we all have 24 hours in a day, right? And as women, we have to hold ourselves accountable for our time. So you guys know what I do? I make a schedule, right? When I wake up in the morning, if I can't get to it the night before, I sit here and I write out in my notebook. Let me show y'all. I write out in my notebook, right? Times and what I'm going to do. I make my own schedule. Like those of you who like Waikitha and Diane, you said you struggle with time management. Are y'all making a schedule for yourself? Are y'all maximizing your time? Are y'all putting your paper on paper? Right? Write down what you're going to do. So if you work 8 hours or 9 hours, you're going to block out time for that. And maybe you could squeeze in some business tasks if you can. But if you can't, that's fine. But after work and before work, that's your time. That's your time. You can either spend it sleeping or procrastinating. I'm just being honest, y'all. Somebody had to pull me aside a long time ago. I used to be that person like, oh my God, I got all these kids. I'm having problems in my relationship. Oh my God, I don't have time. I don't have time. And one person said, listen, your time is your time. You are the controller of your time. Nobody can teach you how to manage your time. It's like when people say, oh, I struggle with my self-esteem, right? It's your self-esteem. You have control over your self-esteem. So when people tell me time management, I'm gonna keep it to you real. I'm a mother of 5 children. I have multiple businesses. I'm a wife and all these things. I make myself a schedule every single day. I write my schedule out, then I add it to my Google Calendar. Then the next thing I do is I take my cell phone. Okay, I'm telling y'all, this is exactly what I do every day. Right? I take my cell phone and I set an alarm for everything. Everything on my cell phone has an alarm. Like everything today has an alarm to it. Right? So when there's a time comes for like client calls or when I have to do the show or when I have to do a class or whatever, my phone will alarm off to let me know I have to switch and do something else. Okay, it's the same thing when you're working at a job, right? There's designated times for designated things. So you gotta stay focused on making yourself a schedule, giving yourself reminder cues like with an alarm or a timer or what have you to get things done. I hope that helped. I hope that helped. So Crystal said IPA. So what part of your IPAs that you struggle with, sis? What part of the IPAs? What is your struggle with income producing activity? All right, let's go into the next thing, y'all. There's not going to be an afterglow tonight, y'all. It's not going to be an afterglow tonight. Therese, let's go to the next thing. Okay. All right. Number 4 is to beat the odds. To beat the odds. Sometimes we think other people have it easier when it comes to conflict management, right? And overcoming trials and tribulations, right? Sometimes we make this excuse like, well, you don't have a life like I did, or you wasn't raised like I was, or you didn't have the support like I had. I was just talking to one client earlier today, and she was sharing with me how, she's struggling with how her family doesn't support her business, right? But at the end of the day, ladies, everyone has the same amount of struggle as everyone else. It just comes in different forms, different fashions. It comes through different people, right? But you can beat the odds, just like everyone else who's successful beats the odds. I remember, people, Jeff Bezos, I'm pretty sure people told him that nobody's going to buy books on the internet. I remember back in the day, we used to have to go to a bookstore to purchase books. If that was you, give me a raise hand emoji. You had to go to a bookstore to purchase books, right? There was no such thing as Amazon or going online and buying booklets. There was no such thing as Kindle and Audible and all that stuff. We didn't have those things back then. But I'm pretty sure when Jeff Bezos had the idea of doing what? Selling books on Amazon, I'm pretty sure there was dozens of people that said, oh, nobody's going to buy books online. They want to look at the book first. They want to turn the pages first before they buy. And look at him now, right? Beating the odds. Beating the odds. You can't build a life working off of somebody else's fear. How many of you have ever had anybody who told you, oh, you shouldn't do this, or this is not a good business to get into, oh, you should just go ahead and get a job? How many times people approached you and said something to you that totally went against what you was trying to build yourself? Type in me if that's been you. And this is why it's important for you guys to have your plan written out, to have your strategy written down, to put your paper on paper, okay, to have a method of operations, like I said, IPAs, growth, retention, and all those things. So because even when you're getting this negativity presented to you, you are beating the odds. Listen, ladies, it's time for us to hold ourselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? I said this even last year. I see so many women making excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. And I know exactly what's going to happen with you. Is you're going to be 80, 90 something years old looking back and say, dang, I should have just worked harder and I'll be in a different place right now. Right? Crystal said, when a potential reaches out for an appointment and closing a deal with them after the appointment. Follow up, Crystal. There's fortune in the follow-up. You have to follow up. You have to reach out and say things like, hey, Brenda, I'm just circling back to you. I just want to know if you got a chance to check out my proposal. Oh, I'm just circling back to making sure you had a chance to check out my website. What also, another thing about IPAs, Crystal, is that you have to ask the right questions. Questions like, what are some of your challenges when it comes to my offer? What is not making you say yes? And find out. Sometimes we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear, oh, I can't afford. We don't want to hear objections, right? But they're not even objections. They're symptoms that you have to determine a cure for. And if you have a product or service or course that actually solves a problem, it's going to become very fluid for you to close that sale. But you got to follow up. Okay? No one's going to follow up for you. You got to follow up. I'm pretty sure for those of you who see other coaches out there who has more clients than you, that's making more money than you, if you really go and look at their back end machine, they follow up. Personal message, text message, email, and guess what? Phone calls. Yeah, I call people over the phone. Yes, I do. Close over the phone. That will raise your percentage overnight when you close more customers and more clients. Get on the phone with them. It's old school, but it works. Okay. So beating the odds also means beating yourself out of procrastination, beating yourself out of worrying, beating yourself out of negativity. Business is 1000% mindset. Okay. It also has a huge percentage in the amount of influence, right, that you have over your business. I mean, what are you watching every day? What are you looking at every day? Are you looking at women and men that inspire and motivate you? Or are you just looking at reruns of Housewives and all the negative, shady parts that goes on the internet? Right? Because when every successful millionaire, billionaire person I've ever been around, they're not watching all that stuff. They're not watching all that stuff. And they're listening to investment podcasts. They're watching YouTube videos that inspire them. They're not watching all the chaos that goes on in the world, the negativity that goes on in the world. They're trying to block their ear gates. They're trying to protect what's happening and going on up here, because that's our responsibility. So when we talk about time management and how to close more people, you got to ask yourself, when you sharpen your skills, you become good, right? And on one of Grant Cardone's shows, he mentioned this. He said, before you can become good, you have to become frequent. Did anybody catch that? Type in me if you caught that, please. In order to become good in your business, in order to get successful in your business, you have to get frequent. I'm not talking about post on Monday and then post again on Friday. I'm not talking about go live in February and don't go live again until April. Okay? That's not frequent. I'm not talking about, hey, you posted every week, all week long, and you didn't get any sales. That's not frequent. That's not frequent. Before you become good and great at something, you got to become frequent. And some of y'all are not frequent enough for anybody to trust whether or not you can help them. Some of y'all are talking more about the solution and less about the problem. Did anybody catch that? They ouch, they me, because it's the truth. All right, what's the next point, Teresa? Is that the last point? How many points we have left? Yes. Thank you, Diane. Teresa, that's the last point? Yes. You got to become frequent in order for you to become good. Listen, your frequency will match your success. That's how it works. Your frequency will match your success. All right, so that's the last point. Teresa, do we have a in the news? You want to pull that up? I don't even know what we have for that. If not, that's okay, because I have a class to do. Okay, good. Pull it up, Teresa. Pull it up. And I'm also pull it up on my phone. This was helpful, Diane. Awesome. So you know what? Y'all have homework. Y'all have homework. Y'all ready to hear it? Before Teresa brings up the what's news and I'll explain what it is. I want y'all tonight to introduce 3 people to your business. I want y'all tonight to introduce 3 people who you haven't introduced your business to before. I want you to reach out to them and invite them to your business page, to your Facebook group, ask them for their email so you can send them more information. Oh, what was that? Freaking thing fell. Sorry, y'all. Oh, okay. What's on what's news? Okay. Ooh, what's it say? What's it say? Entrepreneur makes history as the first Black private mortgage lender with a 100 million warehouse line. What? Trees, hold on. I want to read the article. Hold on. Let me pull it up on my phone. Y'all see this on the screen? Hold on. Oh, I got the link, Trees. I got the link. Okay, so here's what the article says, y'all. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what What's News is, What's News is a segment of our show where we talk about a lot of things that you guys will not see or don't see on your news, right? So we showcase different entrepreneurs and influential women, men, and children that are doing some impactful things all across the world. So tonight we have an amazing What's News person to highlight. Okay. Oh, Therese, this ain't it, love. I think I got the wrong link. Hold on one second. I'm pulling up on my phone, y'all, but I don't think this is the right link. Therese, box for me the link real quick. Yeah, I want to read the whole article for you guys. Isn't this amazing, y'all? This is cool. Yeah, I'm trying to find the thing so I can read the article for you guys. Okay. Private mortgage lender. Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, Therese, just box for me the link so I could read the article. Hold on. Yeah, I see it up here, Therese, but I want to pull it up on my phone. I want to read it from my phone. Yeah, because it's not going to let me copy and paste from here. All right, y'all. This is awesome sauce. All right, I got it. I got it. Thank you, Trees. All right, so it says entrepreneur makes history as the first Black private mortgage lender with a 100 million warehouse line. Awesome. So it says his company is a direct lender that offers finance options to real estate investors, and he is reportedly the first African American mortgage lender to have a delegated underwriting authority over a $100 million warehouse line. Troy positioned his company within the private mortgage market by creating bank alternative lending capital for a mortgage products that would be very challenging for individuals to find. They have created the first ever mortgage revenue sharing network. For the first time, a national private credit fund has agreed to share the organizational fees charged on the business purpose mortgage transaction with anyone who shares their loan program with others. So they also have a referral program. That's amazing. It also says revenue partners have the ability to earn up to a 15% revenue share on each transaction. This revenue sharing system encourages team growth as they will override pay an override on all volumes created through team channels. Oh, that's amazing, y'all. Does anybody know anything about mortgage and underwriting and things like that? I'm not too knowledgeable of it. But also says, however, it doesn't stop there. Smith is very active in the Charles County community at large. He is currently working with the Economic Development Department to spearhead a community development corporation called the CDC. The CDC will operate as a business credit fund and business training system. Local Charles County financial institutions will create the collateral to pool money together with the CDC to help support local business growth. That's great. Local business, yeah, they definitely need funding for that. All right, y'all. So Teresa actually popped the link to the article. You guys can definitely go on over and check that out. His name is Troy Smith. He is the founder and CEO of G1 Commercial Mortgage, a faith-based private credit fund based in Charles County, Maryland. Oh, LaShawn, you live in Maryland, right? Oh, I'm sorry, LaShawn. I'm saying your business, girl. She's like, girl, I didn't want people to know I live in Maryland. So y'all let me know in the chat. Is this awesome or not? Is this awesome or not? Let me know in the chat. I think it's amazing. I think it's super. Super duper duper. All right, what time is it? Okay. So listen, as I mentioned earlier, there's not going to be a afterglow tonight. And for those of you who are new to watching the show, if you don't know what the afterglow is, the afterglow is a segment that we do after the show. We like to do that segment to connect with our viewers, to connect with those of you who watch the show. It's sort of like an after party in a sense where we all hop on a Zoom link and it's not recorded and we just, talk more in depth about the topic that we're discussing that night, or we just sit back and discuss whatever you guys want to discuss and feel comfortable with sharing. But tonight, for the next couple of weeks, we're not going to do Afterglow because we want you guys to sign up for the self-care event. So if you're not on our email list, type in the word email in the comments right now, and I will personally reach out to you to get your email address so you can grab our early bird opportunity to join us for our self-care event. Now, our self-care event is going to be amazing, y'all. We're actually going to have a special guest speaker that's going to be joining us, and I'll do a live in our tribe to let you guys know who she is and what she's all about, because she's amazing and we are pumped. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching tonight, and as always, love on your sister. We'll be back again, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Wednesday. All right, see me off, Therese. Y'all have a great night. Bye.